Hi guys, and welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome. So in today's video, I got a lot of requests for the how-tos of makeup. Quite a few of you have reached out and messaged me and said, listen, I am just starting to get into makeup and I want to know, how do you apply your foundation? What are the steps that you take before putting your foundation on? And so on. So I decided, you know what, let me sit down and film me doing my makeup from start to finish so that you guys can see how it is done. And I am not a professional in any way, shape, or form. This is just what works for me when I apply my makeup and how I use it. I might not be using the right brushes, but those brushes work for me personally. I might not be putting on my lip liner the right way, but it works for me. So again, it's just makeup and just have fun with it. And if you're struggling, practice. It takes time to master anything in life, anything. And I'm not, as you could see, this look is what I created today. I'm not going to do anything drastic. I don't need Instagram eyebrows. I don't need big, bold makeup out to the temples of my head. I am just like you guys. I am an everyday person. I probably am going to finish filming this video and run out and do some errands, come home, pull my hair up in a bun, and clean my house because I'm just an everyday normal person like the rest of you. So if you're interested in seeing how the application goes and the ins and the outs and the how-tos of basic makeup, then stick around. Okay, so like I said at the beginning, this is back to basics for a lot of people that were asking me how I do my makeup and why and how to use the products and what the products are for. And again, I am in no way, shape, or form a professional. This is just what works for me when I do my makeup and how I do it and things I found easy and why I like to do these steps. It might not be the same steps that other people are doing, but it's what works for me. Might work for you, it might not. So before I do anything, I'm going to prime my face, and I like to use 2 primers. It's just what works for me. So the first one I'm going to apply is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. This is a primer and a moisturizer all in one, and I have been loving using this. So I take a couple of drops and I just rub it on my face. You really don't need a lot. A little bit of this really does go a long way. We're not going to talk about this guy here. I've named him Joffrey. He just doesn't want to go away. Freaking Joffrey. It feels like it's like one of those cystic acne pimples. And I kind of have a hunch where it came from. Kind of makes me disappointed. It was from a foundation that I used, and so it makes me a little sad, but it really does hurt. It feels as horrible as it looks, honestly. So just rubbing this into my face, and then I like to go in with my e.l.f. Poreless Putty. Guys, I absolutely love this stuff. So I just run my finger right in here, and I like to put this right in this area, and I push it into my pores. I do feel like this does minimize the look of my pores, and it does help with the application. Now, my nose does look red and peely. I am getting over having the flu. That's why I do sound a little bit nasally, but also allergies are so bad right now, guys. So bad. I also like to take a little bit of it and put it right up here because, I don't know, I think it just looks better when I put it up here as well. And then I just wait like a minute or two, but we don't have time for video purposes to sit around and wait. And make sure that that's all pushed in and pressed in well. But like I was saying, yes, my nose does look peely and red. I am getting over being sick, so if you see like little pieces of skin, I apologize. The next thing that I want to go in with, and I only use this if I'm using a matte foundation because my skin is on the really, really dry side, and that's the Urban Decay Drop Shot Oil. You can mix it in with your foundation if you're comfortable with that. I just like to take a couple of drops of it. I usually do about 3 drops, 2, 3, on my fingers. I rub it between my fingers and I put this all over my face. And if you feel like you do need to add a little bit more, then you can. I don't touch my nose with this because for some reason throughout the day, my nose does get a little greasy and oily, which is weird. Well, the whole rest of my face stays desert dry, but I feel like when I use this and I put this on my face and I rub it in, and I let it sit usually about like 2 minutes before I continue on. You see I'm just rubbing it in really, really well. And I'm going to put a little on the bottom of my nose, even though I know it's going to get oily and greasy, only because that I've been sick. So I only use this when I'm using a matte foundation, just so that my skin doesn't look really dry and patchy when I am using matte foundation. If I'm going to use a dewy foundation, I will not use this because then it's just over dewy and too shiny. So I only use this when I am using a matte foundation. So next, what I'm going to do is, this guy looks horrible. Oh my God, he hurts so bad. Joffrey. I like to take my Wet n Wild Mega Cushion in the green corrector. So I like this because it has a sponge, but I just take the sponge and I put a little bit under my eyes. Now this is more for like redness and stuff. So as you can see, you know, Joffrey here, oh, he hurts. It's a little red. And I do have a little bit of redness on my cheeks and down here. So I'll put that. I go in savage with this. I really do. You're supposed to like use a brush or whatever, but listen, ain't got time for that. I really like this LA Girl, and then I just take my beauty blender and I just buff it into my skin. Just buffing. LA Girl also makes a really, really good green corrector, which I have and I use, but I grabbed this one today. And you just buff it into your skin. And I like to do this before I put my foundation on. And you can see that Joffrey here doesn't look as red, even though I know there is not a foundation on this planet right now that is going to make him look any better or conceal or hide him. But we are definitely going to try that today. Most definitely. So now that that step is done, the next thing that I like to do is my foundation. Now, I'm going to use today the Urban Decay All Nighter. I love this. My two favorite high-end foundations are the Urban Decay All Nighter and the Too Faced Born This Way. Love them, love them, love them. The coverage is just amazing. If you want, and I usually use a brush, but today I feel like using the Beauty Blender. So I'm just going to put a couple of dabs on. And my shade in this is 5.5. I also have the 6, which is a good shade. It does oxidize. Now remember, guys, when you're doing this, you want to put a little bit down your neck because you want everything to match. So I do like to just put this here so that everything matches. And let's get rid of these because they're going to get in the way. We'll put those back in a minute. So then you just push it in with your beauty blender, or you can buff it in with your brush. I feel like the coverage is much better with the brush, but sometimes I do like to use the beauty blender, and you want to make sure that you're buffing it all in, pushing it into your face, the product, push it in. Now, if you're unsure of like what shade you should get, you could definitely go to an Ulta or a Sephora and get shade matched. I screw that up all the time when ordering online. I never correctly shade match myself because I always think I'm either darker or lighter. And sometimes when you get a foundation online, it'll look like it's your shade. And then it comes and you're like, what the hell was I thinking? And then you have to return it, which is annoying. But definitely go and get shade matched. And you want to make sure that you do bring this down so that you match all over the place. And you could do your ears just so that everything matches. And you see how my skin looks healthy and shiny right now? But that's okay because we are going to fix all of that where it doesn't look as dewy. But I love the coverage of this foundation. I just feel like it lasts all day long. And now you see Joffrey doesn't look as bad as he did before. So that's always a bonus. And always take your time when blending. Just make sure you're pushing the product in to your face and you're covering your full face. I absolutely love this freaking beauty sponge. This is from e.l.f. and it's a teeny tiny one, and then once you wet it, it gets ginormous. It gets like the size of my forehead. And it's so soft. So now foundation is done. So now after I have all of my foundation and it's laid down and it is blended, I have sparkles on my face. I didn't touch anything with sparkles. Ugh. Now that it is laid down and it's blended out well, I love this concealer. This is the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer. I have not touched any of my other concealers. This is one of the best concealers I've had since Tarte's Shape Tape. So this is more on the affordable end, and it's amazing. And I just like to go down this way on the bridge of my nose and then across. You know, you're just drawing some lines and stuff on your face. And then I like to put some right here. You know, just draw some crazy designs. A little bit here. And then I like to look up close, like, see, I'm going to put some over Joffrey. Wherever you feel like you need a little bit extra concealer is where you're going to put it. Again, this is just how I do it. It's just what works for me and what I like. And, you know, now we're ready to go out. Let's go shopping. Let's go buy some groceries. Then I like to take my sponge and just blend it into my face so that it all matches evenly. And the reason why we use the concealer is just to brighten up under your eyes or wherever you feel like you need brightening. And always get a concealer that is a shade lighter than what you would buy for foundation. You can use the same shade, but you will not get that brightening effect that you will as if you bought a shade lighter. You can use a brush to blend this in. I've always just liked to blend this with my sponge just because I feel like it's easier. You can also put some on your eyelids. Doesn't matter. Nothing's gonna happen. Just poke myself in the eye. So you can already see like it's a little bit brighter here. So now the next thing that I like to go ahead and do is just double check that everything is well blended, because we don't want any creasing at all. And I like to now go in with, I have it open here, Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent powder. Again, this is an affordable drugstore. I also like the Too Faced Born This Way one. I like the Airspun, but I've really been gravitating towards this one a lot, especially that it is a little bit on the affordable end. And then I just like to put this here. And this is just how I do it. I mean, everybody's going to bake differently and do things differently. And I just like to put this here. And I put some here because, you know, I have my think lines, or the WTF lines, which is probably my fault because I'm always squinting because I never put my contacts in. Way to go. And then I also like to take some of it, which is in here. I like to take some of it, and I like to go down my smile lines just to prevent further creasing, because I do have deep smile lines for some reason. I won't tell you what one of my friends likes to call them. I know this looks crazy. It looks really crazy. So, just going over and making sure that everything is well pushed in. Now, while I let this sit, and now you're all looking at me like I'm nuts and I'm crazy. I look like a spider. We're just enhancing Joffrey here. While I let this sit, I like to go in with my eyebrows. Today I'm going to use the Benefit Cosmetics Goof Proof Brow Pencil. I am not going to do my brows on camera. I'm going to do them really quick because it takes forever. So, I'll be right back. So now that my brows are done, I don't want to do them on camera because it takes way too long. And I really need to concentrate, otherwise they just look really wonky. But when I'm done putting them on, I like to also use the 24-hour brow setter by Benefit, and I just like to put it in the brows. And I don't do my brows like crazy Instagram brows because I'm like walking around in real life here. You know, I'm not about to go run errands or go up to my kid's school with crazy Instagram brows. You know, I live an everyday life. I'm not having photo shoots and whatnot. I'm just a regular person, just like the rest of you, living in a regular world without Instagram brows. Then I like to take my brush and sweep all of this off. So we're going to sweep it off, pushing it off the face. And you can see the difference now, how this is much more brighter. And if you do think it's too bright, I'm going to show you how to fix that in 1 second. So now that we did this and everything is swept away, I then like to take, if I could find my brush, I like to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me, and this is almost empty. As you can tell, I've been loving this. And I just like to dip it in and just set all of my foundation all over on my neck and everywhere. Just so that everything is really set into place. And you don't need a lot. You just need a little bit just to set it all. And now you can see here, me, I don't mind. It does look a little bit brighter down here, but you can take this and you can push this into your under eye if it's too bright for you, and then just make it a little less bright. You can also use 2 different kinds of concealers, one a little bit lighter, one a little bit darker, to get the perfect way you like. But this is just my way of doing things. And what works for me, again, might not work for you guys, but I'm just, sharing the stuff. So next is bronzer. I don't like to go ham on my bronzer. I really don't. I want to have not a cat hair in my eye. I want to have a little bit of that bronzy look, but not like overkill. I'm not going to the Met Gala. I'm not going to like an award ceremony or a wedding or anything. I'm just going to be out doing my thing in the real world here. Grocery shopping, grabbing kids from school, picking my kids up. I'm not grabbing strange kids, my own kids. Just real world things. So I'm going to use my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. And I just basically swirl it around. I tap off the excess. And then what you want to do, so we're going to get our hair out of the way, is you want to go where your cheekbones are. You can make that kissy face, here's my cheekbones. You could do that if you're starting out. Is a perfect way. But tip of the ear. So here, right here, and across. I don't like to fully go across. Like I said, I just want a little bit of that bronze look, not too much, as my hair is getting in the way. And I am going to really buff and blend this out. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. So you basically, once you do it a few times, you kind of know where like your cheekbones are. Then I like to take very little bit, barely touching the brush, and go along my head, right up here, barely touching, because we don't want way too much. We don't want to go ham. And then I personally like to take just a little bit here, down the bridge of my nose, because I don't want to contour. I don't want to contour. I like my nose. I think that my nose is perfect. And then a little bit here, because when you put it under your lip, it gives you that shadow, and it will make your lips look a little bit larger. Not that my lips need to look a little bit larger, but I like when my lips look really full. So it's going to give you that shadow effect that your lips are larger. Then I just like to take my blending brush or whatever brush I grab, because, I hardly ever use the right brushes. I just pick up what's going to work for me, and I just buff and blend everything into my skin. And you always want to make sure, guys, when you're buffing this, you bring it down just a little bit. You want to make sure you get your top of your head really good. And when you're blending out your bronzer here, you want to make sure that you blend this out good, because see, I didn't blend it out good yet, and I look like I have bronzer head. You don't want that. So you want to really blend and buff this into the skin really well, so that you're not left with bronzer head. And you want to blend this out really well too, so you don't get left with any harsh lines or anything. And if you do put your bronzer on and you feel like it's too heavy, you can just take your beauty blender and pounce it in and fix it that way. If you still see some harsh lines, just go in and buff it out into your skin. But all in all, I think this looks good. The next thing I like to go in with is some blush. And I have really, really, really been loving this blush. I need a blush brush. This is the Zoella and ColourPop blush, and this is in Soulmate. I really like this one. It is just a very natural pink. It's not overbearing. It's just very, very light. And we're going to dip it into here. And then the apples of your cheeks and pull it back. Apples of your cheeks and pull it back. And you can see how light this blush is. I love it because it just looks so light. Apples of your cheeks and pull it back. And again, this one's a little bit darker, so we'll match it and then we'll fix it. And then I do like to come back in with the same brush, just buff it out. And now if you feel like you have too much on, which I did go a little ham with the blush, I love a good blush. I really do, and I don't mind a lot of blush sometimes, but I'm not feeling that today. So, like I said, here's the trick. You put the Beauty Blender on it, and you just fix it. And now you see it's not as predominant. As I realized I didn't fix my lips. I have foundation lips, but that's okay. So now before I do any kind of highlighter or anything, I like to spray my face, and I'm going to use the Fix Plus by MAC, and this is the lavender one, guys. Oh my God, it's so good. So you want to spray your face. Woohoo, it smells so nice. I don't have a fancy fan like, you know, some people. I don't. And for highlighter, I'm going to go in with this CoverGirl Peach Punch Highlighter Trio. And it doesn't have the shade names on it, but this really does smell like peaches. And I'm just going to go in with this first shade right here. And it is powdery, this one. So now I like to just swoop it right here, right above where we did the blush. The top of our cheekbones. And this one is just a very light highlighter. I don't even think the camera's picking it up. It's very light, but it's also very, very pretty. This is not like your blinding highlight. But again, not every day we have to wear a blinding highlight. I like to put some on my nose. Now you can see it on my nose. This really does smell like peaches. And you can build it up as you go. You can add other shades to it. And I like to put a little bit on my Cupid's bow. Just a little. And then blend that with my finger. But let's see if we can build this up. This is very powdery. I do like it because it does give just a little bit of that highlighted glow. I'm trying really hard not to bring it down so much because I don't want it to touch Joffrey here, because then he'll scream and he'll tell everybody to look at him. Then I do like to go in and just buff it out just a little bit. Make sure that there's no harsh lines and everything is even. Like I said, this is a very light blush. I don't even know if the camera is not blush, highlighter. I don't know if the camera's really picking it up, but it is very, very pretty. It's a very pretty highlighter. I like to go in one more time. Spray my face. This stuff smells amazing. Amazing. Totally amazing. And now we're going to move to eyes. So what I first like to do is I take my Soft Ochre from MAC and I take a little bit on a brush. You can use your fingers if you want. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I like to put this all over my lid, and I kind of take my time with it because I bring it up to my brows so that I can now carve my brows out after doing my eyebrows. It's just an easier thing for me. It's just how I personally like to do it. And just bring it up and over. And then, as we got some extra, we're going to just buff this out. I like to use my finger for this part, just to blend it in. Remember, it's just makeup, and if you make a mistake, it comes off, and you can always try again. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. It's just makeup. Have fun with it, and try new things. And you know what? While you're trying new things, you might discover that, oh, you know what? If I do it this way, I feel like it works for me better. Or if I do it that way, it works better. So, I mean, it's always good to explore. It's just makeup. Have fun with it. That's what it's about. It's just having fun and feeling pretty. Okay, so for eyes today, I thought we would use the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. This is pretty brand new. I figured that we would use this just because it has more of your calmer tones. I didn't want to sit here and do a get ready with me and throw in bold and bright colors just yet, but that video will be coming soon. But I figured something neutral, something every single day where you can, you know, just throw a couple of shades on and be on the go. So the first shade that I want to go in, which is right here, is Burnout. I want to take just a little bit of it because it's a pale white. That's all it is. And I want to put this all over just to kind of set my soft ochre right in place. And again, same thing on the other eye. You don't need a lot of it. You can just use a little bit of it. And we're just setting that all in place. Same brush. I think the next color I want to go in with is Afternoon Delight, which is this one right here. It is just a very neutral brown shade, and I want to put that right above my crease. We're just going for a very natural look today. And I say that, and it's so funny because nothing ever turns out natural. I always end up with like crazy dark eyes. Dramatic. So we're just going to put this in the crease. Right above the crease, I'm sorry. And if you get it in the crease, it's absolutely fine. And we're just gonna gently pat it and swoop, pat it and swoop. Okay, so next I think we're gonna go just a little bit darker, and we should probably go into Set in Stone. These colors are really, really nice and pigmented. And I want to take that shade and I want to put it right into my crease. And I'm tucking it right into my crease and going back and forth in a rocking motion just to kind of tuck it in. And now, don't worry if it looks kind of crazy. We're going to blend. And we have to make sure that we're going to blend it correctly so that everything looks really pretty together. But still just going back and forth in the rocking motion right into the inner of it. See? Back and forth. And I'm going to do the other eye and then we'll come back and blend. So now that I have the other eye done, I love the blending brushes from e.l.f. I could tell you that that's what this brush is. All my other brushes, I have no idea. Some are Juvia's Places. This purple one and this purple one that I use are both from Juvia's Place. And it was the 006 and this one was the 007. Love these. And this blue one was BH Cosmetics. So we're just going to blend this in. I honestly, guys, half the time can't tell you what brush I'm using because I just pick up. And sometimes it's not the right brush. Like, I might want to use a crease brush for, like, putting something on my lid. And that's just my preference of how I like to do things and what brushes work for me and how they work. Now, this color I'm not really crazy about here because it's not blending well. So we're having a blending disaster here. The color Set in Stone is giving me an issue blending. I don't know if you guys can see it, like right here. It's getting very patchy as I'm trying to blend it. And hopefully we can fix it. Like, it's not blending very well, this color. And it's kind of getting like murky looking. I don't know. So When you're having an issue, you gotta just keep blending it and fixing it and seeing what happens. But I don't know if blending this is gonna help. Okay, so I continued blending a little bit more off camera. It still has that little spot here that just doesn't want to blend and pick up. Obviously, it's the shadow because it's just giving me a difficult time. I'm now going to take my Royal & Langnickel brush, and again, this is where I say I use the brushes that work for me and how I use them, and this is probably not the right way to use this brush, but again, it's how I like to use it. I want to take a little bit of Hot to Trot, which is the shade right here. Just very little bit of it. And I want to put that in the outer corner of my eye, like right here, just to kind of give it more of dimension. But I don't want to bring it up and over. I really just want to leave this on the outer part of the eye. And gently just patting it into the outer corner. If you go over it a little bit, you know, over to the other side a little bit, that's fine. You can blend that out. It's just makeup, guys. Have fun with it. Who cares if you're using the right brushes or the wrong brushes, or if you're using a $1 brush or a $50 brush. They're all brushes. And it's all just makeup. If you make a mistake, you can start over. So again, just patting this in to my outer corner here. Very, very slow. So now once we have those on our outer corners, I just like to go in and just, again, blend. It's all about blending with your eyeshadows. And not every day is going to be a good blending day. Let's be honest here. You know, I'm not a professional. I just love makeup. I have a great passion for makeup. And you know what? Some days my blending is not on point. And that's okay. It's not like I'm going to sit down and have a meeting with the president and everything needs to be perfect. No. Probably just going to go run errands. Or sit here and do a video. And when I'm done, put my hair up in a crazy bun and clean my house. Because I don't have anybody that does that for me. We don't live that bougie kind of life. Again, just blending it in like a circular motion. And it's all about like looking and going, okay, I like that. I like the way that looks. Or if you don't like the way it looks, you know, just keep blending it out in circular motions. And, you know, you can also bring it up and over. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do, but I just want to focus this color right there on the edges. Now, if you go over your eye a little bit, you can just go back with your beauty blender and clean it up. I don't like to bring my makeup out to here. That's my preference. There's no reason. My eyeball doesn't end all the way over here, so I don't need to have my makeup like I'm a warrior. So, again, just go back and just, you can fix it, blend it out. You can get a makeup wipe, whatever your preference is. Now, next, I don't know what to put on the lid. I don't want to go too shimmery shiny. We're going to be left with some shimmery shiny colors. I mean, if it was up to me, I might go in with this blue or this purple here. But I think we're going to take Fat X. Maybe he has my chewy stuff. I ordered stuff for my new puppy. We're getting a new puppy. Watch for that video. It's coming soon. Like I said, we're going to go with Peep Show. It's this beautiful lavender color. And hopefully it doesn't get murky. Let's just see what's going to happen. Again, we're just playing with makeup. And I'm just going to swipe that on my lid. I feel like it did make the look a little bit darker than I wanted, but we could fix that in a second. I'm almost positive. Now you guys don't have to do all of this. You can just do one shade of brown, some mascara, and go. But I'm just giving you a full look. So I don't care for the color Peep Show with this look. It made it look a little bit darker than I wanted the lids to actually be. So I'm going to take All Tied Up on my finger, which is the shade right here. It's just a white. And I'm gently going to just pat that over just to give it a little bit more. There we go. A little bit more of a lighter look. I didn't want to be as drastic. Just didn't want it so dark. I just pat it on my fingers and then go in and blend when you're done. So again, you want to blend these colors together so that you have no harsh lines. Blend it together. Now I usually do put color under my eyes, but my allergies are so bad that I know the second that I touch under my eyes, they are going to start tearing and running all over the place, and it's not going to be pretty. I also want to take a little bit of Love Spark, which is just a pretty pearly color, and just put a little bit right under my brow bone. Not too much, because it is a very sparkly color. Maybe we'll do the under eye. We'll see. We'll see. Now, see what just happened to me? I put a little too much and it looks very predominant. And so we're going to fix it. We're going to blend it out just very gently. Screw it, guys. Let's put just a little bit of Hot to Trot under the eyes, just to give it more dimension, just to give you guys the full look. If my eyes start tearing, don't at me. Just going right underneath your lash line. Right underneath it. See? Right underneath your lash line right here. And then we have to blend that out. And sometimes when you're doing the blending, you might lose some of the pigmentation of the shades. Just go back and build it back up to what you like. Just gently blending it. And I don't know if you guys can see, but I have a little bit of fallout on the side of my nose. I'm going to take the brush that I use to put my bronzer on, just sweep it, because it's on my nose and I don't want to lose that little bit of bronze that I put on, and just sweep it off. And then I want to take a really, really small brush, and with that same color, Love Spark, and just put a little bit in the inner corners. Just a little bit, just to brighten up the look, just a little bit. Because I feel like we went really dark, which I really didn't want to. I wanted to do like a light neutral look, but that purple made it really dark. So now that we have that there, I am going to move on to eyeliner. I'm going to go over that with you guys really, really quickly. I am going to use my Rimmel. I don't know what shade this is. It's just black. Rimmel London Scandalous Eyes. Absolutely love this. I am going to put on my It Cosmetics mascara, which I absolutely love. And then I'm going to line my lips with the LA Girl Lip Precision Liner with Sugar and Spice. And we'll be back to talk lipstick in a minute. Okay, guys, so put my mascara on, and the lipstick that I chose to use today was by Rimmel, and it's called Paradise. And I just figured it would go really, really nice with this whole look. It's a very light, neutrally beautiful brown, but it does have like a little bit of shimmer to it, like a little bit of pink shifty shimmer, which is really, really pretty. The last step of all makeup application that I do, I just spray the room and not me, is set your stuff in place. Okay, guys, so that is my get ready with me, back to basics, and how-tos, and what I like to do and how I like to do things. And just remember, guys, it's just makeup. Have fun with it, play around, see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I really hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe. And until next time, bye, guys.